Hello, my name is Tanner Kyler, and today I'm standing in one of the last remnants of the tallgrass prairie in Osage County, Oklahoma. The tallgrass prairie, it extends for less than 4% of what they originally inhabited whenever the colonists came to North America. Tallgrass prairies are an incredibly endangered ecosystem. Once ranged roughly 126 million acres across the United States, and now, after we've cultivated fields, farmland, over extensively ranged it, and I'm not mentioning invasive species which are destroying our prairies rapidly. Now we are cut down to roughly 39,000 acres of true tallgrass prairie. This is not a true tallgrass prairie. It is a close resemblant of the tallgrass prairie, but factors that alter it from being a true tallgrass prairie are compaction of soil, erosion, and invasive species which are destroying it, such as Johnson grass, Bermuda grass, and cerisa, which is a bushy shrub from Eurasia. Once found from Texas all the way up to Canada, over 100 miles wide in some places. These prairies may seem just as a sea of just normal grasses, but as you look closely, you notice that there's incredible biodiversity, including above and below the ground. Here we have some Indian grass. This grass right here can get 8 to 10 feet tall, have a 10 to 12 foot root system, along with here's some little blue stem. You have Canadian wild rye, bushy blue stem. I don't know if you can see this in the video. Let me step back. Yeah, bushy blue stem, little blue stem, big blue stem right here. You have switch grasses. There's a switch grass right over here. Now, what makes this prairie especially important is how well it is at absorbing and sequestering carbon. These grasses are perennial grasses, so something that's very surprising about them is that these grasses right here could be older than these trees. These forests that you see back here, these are the cross timbers, post oak, blackjack trees that occupy many of the areas to the eastern portion of Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas.
Because of the large root systems that we saw earlier, these prairies are able to sequester carbon and store it underneath the ground, and there are immense root systems that'll last 50 to 100 years, if not longer.
Flat, open areas of land are easy to till up and cultivate. Whenever you destroy them, though, something that took thousands of years to form and grow and adapt to each other are then just tore apart, planted as a monoculture, which animals can't really use as well as these areas. And I'm gonna grab the camera here. Now, what's incredible about these is that in a monoculture, which like corn, it's a solid flat plain of one type of grass. In these prairies like this, you have this diversity of towering grasses and low spots like this one right here. This right here was evidently a bed down spot for some form of animal at some point, along with this one right here. This one looks like probably a cow. Many of these prairies are used for cattle grazing, which is somewhat better than using them for tilling up and cultivating crops. But in doing so, you have to spray for the weeds. I put weeds in quotation marks because weeds are just deemed unnecessary plants that we don't particularly want in a given area. In research studies that were done by, I'm gonna put it right here if I can find it, our prairies are just as diverse, if not more diverse, than some tropical rainforests throughout the earth. The reasoning being the amount of what can live not only above the ground, but below the ground in these deep root systems that go 10, sometimes even 15 feet deep into the earth to pull water up in these areas that are stricken by drought. Quite often here in the Midwest, South, Oklahoma is kind of in a weird position. But these immense prairies with all these little spaces, as you saw in the beginning of the video, I was sitting down and I was laying down and I was able to pretty much hide my complete self down inside the grass. So you can imagine what quail, meadowlark, deer, bison could use these grasses for, especially in their historic heights. This prairie has been, eaten down, grazed down by cows over time. So they're not going to get quite as tall as they originally could, because it is winter, so they're kind of at their maximum height now. And you can see they're only probably 4 foot tall, and most in the highest points maybe 5 feet tall in some places. But historically, this would have been at least 4 or 5 feet tall all the way around. And then, you'll have clusters of grasses of like big blue stem, little blue stem. Little blue stem doesn't get as big, but like you'd have your switch grasses, your Indian grasses, and your big blue stem, towering 6, 8, maybe even 10 feet tall in some places, especially around the edges of these cross timbers where the fires would burn up and then stop on the edge of the brush over here. Grasses would have got extremely tall, extremely immense, giving plenty of shelter for the animals that occupy the Great Plains. I hope this video brought some form of awareness to you, helped you in some kind of way, and hopefully makes you appreciate the tallgrass prairies a little bit more than you did before. Please subscribe, follow, or like this video if you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.